Welcome back to Just Say It, the English podcast for beginners and everyday learners. I'm your host, and today we're talking about your hobbies and interests in English. You'll learn how to ask, what do you like to do, and answer with confidence. Ready? Let's dive in. So, our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. We want to help you feel, well, really comfortable talking about your free time activities in English. Whether you're meeting someone new or just trying to expand your vocabulary a bit.
Exactly. And it's so important, isn't it? Because talking about what you enjoy doing is like one of the most natural ways to start a conversation. It really builds your confidence for those real-world interactions.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. What exactly is a hobby? How should we understand that term? I mean, it's something you do for fun, right? Not
Yep.
because you have to for work or school. Something that genuinely makes you happy.
That's the core of it, yeah. It's about enjoyment in your own time. And you'll often hear interest used almost exactly the same way, like, what are your interests? Means pretty much the same as what are your hobbies.
Ah, right. Interest. And how do native speakers usually say that? Is it interest with 3 syllables?
You can say it like that, but very often, maybe most often in casual speech, it sounds more like 2 syllables. Interest.
Interest. Okay.
Yeah. And both hobby and interest fall under this bigger idea of free time, or maybe a slightly more formal term, leisure time. Basically, it's the time when you get to choose what you do.
And that choice, talking about that choice, is just a fantastic way to connect, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's perfect small talk material.
Absolutely. It opens doors to finding out what you have in common with people.
Right. So let's get practical. How do we actually ask someone about their hobbies? You mentioned a kind of toolkit.
Yeah, let's build that toolkit. There are a few really useful questions. The most direct ones are pretty simple. You can just ask, do you have any hobbies? Or like we just said, do you have any interests?
Okay, simple enough. Same meeting, good starters.
Exactly. Then you've got slightly more casual options. For instance, what do you do for fun? The key word there is do. What actions do you take for enjoyment?
What do you do for fun? Got it. What else?
You could ask, how do you spend your free time? Here, the verb spend is important, like how you use or allocate that time.
Okay, spend. And is what do you do in your free time different?
It's very similar. Again, the focus is on the do, the activities, maybe slightly less about how the time is filled and more just about the activities themselves. But honestly, they're used pretty interchangeably.
So lots of ways to ask basically the same thing.
Pretty much. And if you want someone to elaborate a bit more, you can use a more open-ended prompt, like, tell me about your hobbies, or tell me about your interests.
That invites a longer answer, doesn't it?
It does. It shows you're genuinely interested in hearing more. And one more, a really common idiomatic way.
Okay.
What kind of things are you into?
Into, how does that work?
Yeah, I am into something. Just means you're interested in it. Or it's your hobby. It's very natural. So you might hear, I'm into photography. Or I'm really into hiking.
How many things are you into? Okay, I like that one. Sounds very casual.
It is. So the tip here for listeners is maybe pick 1 or 2 of these questions that feel comfortable for you.
Yeah, memorize them. Practice saying them out loud so they sound natural when you actually use them.
Exactly.
All right, so we know how to ask. Now let's flip it. How do we answer? How do we talk about our own hobbies confidently?
Okay, so when you're introducing your hobby, you want clear, positive phrases. You could say something like, my favorite hobby has got to be, maybe cooking.
Has got to be. Sounds quite definite.
Yeah, or you could use that phrase we just learned, I'm really into knitting, for example. Or sometimes people make it very personal, like, yoga is my thing.
My thing, like it really belongs to you.
Sort of, yeah. Or to show it takes up a lot of your time. Judo is the hobby that I spend most of my time doing. Or just simple enthusiasm. I'm a huge fan. Board games.
Okay, lots of good starting phrases there. And what about the hobbies themselves? There are so many possibilities.
Oh, absolutely. Huge variety. We can group them maybe, like general activities, things like going to the cinema or the movies, depending where you are, watching TV news, sitcoms, whatever, spending time with family, going out with friends. That could be to a bar, dancing, dinner, playing a sport together, just grabbing coffee, having a barbecue, or just hanging out.
Hanging out, just being together casually. Okay. What other categories?
Well, there's the whole digital and media world now. Surfing the internet maybe for research, social media, blogging, playing video games, listening to music, pop, rock, jazz, you name it. Reading, writing.
And creative stuff.
Yeah, creative and practical things like cooking or baking, arts and crafts, painting, drawing, sewing, knitting, maybe sculpting. Gardening is a big one too, planting, watering, weeding.
And physical activities.
Definitely. Physical and outdoor. Things like exercise or working out at the gym, swimming, playing a sport, football, basketball, tennis, going to the park, maybe for a picnic, kicking a ball around, cycling, hiking, rock climbing, yoga. Lots there.
And I guess there are more specific, maybe niche interests, too.
For sure. Things like playing a musical instrument or collecting things, stamps, coins, whatever. Building models is another one.
It's interesting how we talk about doing them. You mentioned collocations, like verbs that usually go with certain nouns.
Yeah, there are common pairings. You usually do things like knitting or crafts or martial arts like judo.
Okay, do knitting.
You often go for activities ending in ing, like go climbing, go swimming, go biking, go hiking.
Right, go hiking.
And you generally play sports with balls or games. So play football, play chess, play video games.
That's actually really helpful. Play, go, do.
Yeah, those three cover a lot of ground.
So this makes me wonder, why do we even have hobbies? What's the point, psychologically or socially?
Ah, that's a great question. And there isn't just one answer. Sometimes, honestly, it's just to kill time, to fill empty moments.
Sure, makes sense.
But often it's much deeper. Hobbies help us unwind or relax. They're a way to take your mind off things like work stress, a good distraction.
The mental break.
Exactly. Or it could be about growth. People pursue hobbies to master a new skill or to sharpen the mind. Think about learning chess or a language.
Right, keeping your brain active.
Definitely. And they can really improve confidence or self-esteem when you get better at something. On the social side, they're great for connecting with others who share your interest.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic way to meet new people.
So joining a club or a team.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's just about getting active to keep fit, get stronger, become more flexible. Hobbies can get you out of the house.
That's true.
They can also boost creativity, add variety to your daily routine, maybe give you a bit of a challenge.
So loads of reasons, really. It's not just fun.
Not at all. It often serves multiple purposes.
And how do people talk about, how they started a hobby?
Often with phrases like, I first got into, maybe photography, when I was a teenager. Or, I first discovered, let's say, baking, after I saw someone doing it on TV.
Okay. And how long they've been doing it?
For duration, the present perfect continuous is really common. I've been doing yoga for about 5 years. Or for 6 months.
I've been doing it for, okay.
And if you really love it, there's a great idiom. Ever since then, I've been hooked.
Hooked?
Yeah.
Like a fish?
Yeah.
Meaning you're addicted?
Pretty much. You can't stop. You love it so much. I tried snowboarding once, and ever since then, I've been hooked.
I like that one. Hooked.
Yeah.
Okay, but hobbies aren't always easy, right? What about challenges?
No, definitely not. People might describe a hobby as tricky or say it has a steep learning curve, meaning it's difficult to learn at the beginning.
Steep learning curve. Yeah, I've heard that.
Some hobbies might be fiddly, involving small, difficult-to-handle parts like model making.
Fiddly. Okay.
Others could be repetitive or maybe just physically exhausting. A common challenge is that it's hard to find time for your hobby.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right. Some can be very competitive or just plain frustrating sometimes when things go wrong.
And what about skills? What do you need?
Depends on the hobby, of course.
Yeah.
But you often hear things like, you need patience, or nimble fingers, good concentration, maybe good eyesight. Sometimes that's described as an absolute must.
An absolute must. Okay.
Yeah.
So could we maybe see an example of how someone might pull all of that together to describe their hobby, like that gaming example you mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. Someone might say something like, my favorite hobby has got to be gaming. I first got into video games when I was a teenager after my best friend sent me a link to this online strategy game.
Okay, start.
And, well, ever since then, I've been hooked. For me, gaming's kind of a distraction, like a break from real life. It helps me unwind, but at the same time, I find it actually improves my concentration and helps me think more clearly. And of course, when I play online, I'm playing with other gamers, so I think it's also a great way to meet new people.
Social aspect skills.
But gaming isn't easy, though. I sometimes get really tired. Playing it can be exhausting, when you're playing for hours on end.
Challenging.
I think if you want to get into gaming properly, you really have to have good concentration. And I'd say you need a lot of patience, too.
Required skills. Wow, that really covers everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it paints a full picture, the passion, the history, the benefits, the challenges.
Perfect. Okay, let's shift slightly. How do we express how much we like or dislike something? Our preferences.
Right, expressing feelings. We go way beyond just like, For strong, positive feelings, you've got I love, I adore, or more enthusiastic phrases like I'm crazy about or I'm mad about, sailing, for example.
Crazy about, mad about. Okay.
You can be fond of something or passionate about it. We already had I'm really into and I'm keen on.
Keen on. That's quite British, isn't it?
It is, yeah, common in the UK. I have a soft spot for. Suggests a particular fondness, maybe something nostalgic, and of course, I'm a big fan of.
A soft spot for. I like that. And the opposite. Dislikes.
Again, lots of options, from mild to strong. You have the simple I don't like or I dislike, then stronger feelings I hate, I abhor, I detest, I loathe.
Whoa, those are strong. Loathe.
They are. More commonly, maybe I can't bear or I can't stand doing housework, perhaps.
Can't stand, yeah.
Or milder negatives. I'm not keen on spiders. I'm not a fan of reality TV. I'm not particularly fond of waking up early. I'm not crazy about spicy food.
Okay, lots of not options.
Exactly. You might also say I have an aversion to something, or simply I find it unpleasant. And a great idiom, it's not my cup of tea.
Classic. Meaning it's just not something you enjoy.
Precisely. Or another slightly more informal one, it rubs me the wrong way, suggesting it irritates you.
It rubs me the wrong way. Got it. What if you feel neutral? Neither like nor dislike.
That's where I don't mind comes in. Do you want to watch this documentary? Hey, I don't mind. It means it's okay, you're willing to do it, no strong feelings either way.
I don't mind. Useful.
Yeah.
Now there's a grammar point here, isn't there?
Yeah.
About verbs that follow these expressions.
Yes, absolutely crucial. When you use any of these phrases like love, hate, keen on, don't mind, etc., and the next word is a verb, that verb must be in the ing form, the gerund.
Always.
Almost always in this context. So I like listening to music, not I like listen. I hate waiting in queues, not I hate wait. I'm keen on learning English.
Okay, ing form after these preference words. Got it. And what about very much or a lot?
Good point. They come after the thing you like or dislike. You say, I like basketball very much, not I like very much basketball, or I enjoy reading a lot.
Right, at the end of the phrase. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now another layer. How often do we do these hobbies? Let's talk about adverbs of frequency.
Yes. These little words tell us how often something happens. They're essential for talking about routines and habits, including hobbies. You have the positive ones, ranging from 100% to less frequent, always, usually, often, sometimes. And the negative or near negative ones, rarely, seldom, which is a bit more formal than rarely, and never.
Always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, seldom, never.
Got it. Where do they go in a sentence? That can be tricky.
It can seem tricky, but there's a pretty clear pattern. They usually go after the verb to be. So, I am always tired on Mondays. She is often late.
After am, is, are, was, were. Okay.
They go before most other verbs. Like, I always walk to work. He rarely eats breakfast.
Yeah.
We sometimes watch movies on Fridays.
Before the main verb. Okay, that's the main rule.
That's the main rule. There's a little detail with always in negative sentences. It tends to come after don't, doesn't, or isn't Tarrant.
Yeah.
So, she isn't always late rather than she always isn't late. Or they don't always agree. Okay. A slight adjustment for always in the negative. Good to know. And what about using words like rarely or never with don't?
Yes. Crucial point. You should not use negative adverbs like rarely, seldom, or never in a negative statement. They are already negative.
So no double negative.
Exactly. You say, we rarely eat out, not we don't rarely eat out, or he never complains, not he doesn't never complain.
Got it. That sounds much more natural. We rarely, he never.
Definitely keep it simple.
All right. Now, for a bit of fun, to really make your English sound natural when talking about free time, you mentioned some idioms.
Yes. Idioms add color and fluency. They show a deeper understanding of the language and culture.
So what do we got? You mentioned hang out.
Yeah, hang out at the mall, for example. It just means spending time relaxing with friends there. Hang out is a super common phrasal verb. Keep those two words together.
Okay, hang out. What about sunshine?
If you want to enjoy the sun, maybe at the beach, you can catch some rays. It basically means sunbathe.
Catch some rays.
Nice.
Like you're catching sunshine.
Kind of. Remember sunscreen, though? Or you might get sunburn. You want a suntan, not sunburn.
Good advice. What about coffee?
A very casual American English way to say a cup of coffee is a cup of joe.
A cup of joe? Why joe?
Honestly, the origin is debated, but it's very common. You might also hear cup of java, and in the UK, you'd likely hear cuppa for either tea or coffee.
Okay, cup of joe, cuppa. And shopping without buying.
That's go window shopping. Just looking in the shop windows, maybe getting ideas, but not spending money.
Window shopping. We've all done that. What about sports casually?
For basketball, you might say, let's shoot some hoops, just a casual game.
Shoot some hoops. Okay.
And for football, especially in the UK, you might invite friends to go for a kick around. Again, just an informal game.
Go for a kick around. Cool. And eating out casually.
You might chow down at a fast food joint. Chow down means to eat, often enthusiastically. And joint is just a casual word for a place, like a restaurant or bar.
A fast food joint, a veggie joint, a burger joint.
Exactly. And if you're planning a big night out, lots of fun, maybe partying,
Yeah.
you paint the town red.
Paint the town red. Sounds dramatic.
It means having a really wild, fun time out. Maybe you even pull an all-nighter, meaning you stay out all night long.
Okay. And seeing a movie?
Casually, you can say catch a flick. Flick is slang for movie.
Catch a flick.
And you can use catch for other things, too, like catch a play, catch a show, or transport. Catch a train, catch a bus, catch a cab.
Useful verb. Catch?
Mm.
What's the opposite of painting the town red?
That would be keep it low-key. If you have a low-key evening, it's quiet, relaxed, maybe staying at home.
Keep it low-key. I like the sound of that sometimes.
Me too. Oh. And one last one, maybe for a road trip.
Okay.
Grab some munchies and hit the road. Munchies are snacks, and hit the road means to start your journey, usually by car.
Grab some munchies and hit the road.
Sounds like fun.
These idioms really do add flavor, don't they?
They absolutely do. Using them correctly makes you sound much more natural.
Well, we have covered a lot today. Hopefully everyone listening feels much more equipped now to talk about hobbies and interests. We went from the basic definition through asking questions, sharing your own passions, using all sorts of vocabulary, explaining why we do them, and even adding some fun idioms. Feels like a really solid foundation.
Definitely. And it makes you think, doesn't it? This whole discussion raises a different kind of question, perhaps for you, the listener, to consider. How might discovering a new hobby, or even just thinking about and talking about your current ones in this way, how might that open up completely new pathways in your life? You know, beyond just practicing English, how can sharing these unique parts of yourself actually bridge cultural gaps, maybe create unexpected friendships or connections?
That's a really lovely thought, how sharing what makes you happy can build bridges. Something to really mull over.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep learning, and definitely keep chatting about what makes you happy.